Zach Wilson shuts up the Denzel Mims haters for now. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we'll be talking about Denzel Mims, Zach Wilson, all that fun stuff. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets podcast, wherever it is that you get your podcasts. You can also check out the Matt O'Leary NY Extra channel. And of course, the Patreon, patreon.com/Matt O'Leary NY for bonus New York Jets content, including Mock Draft Monday. So one of the things that I've talked about earlier in the week and on the podcast on Monday was Zach Wilson traveling around the country and going to visit all his different wide receivers, all his different weapons and stuff like that. And one of the biggest criticisms, like not necessarily on Zach, but just something that I kept seeing over and over again is, where is Denzel Mims? Denzel doesn't care. He's not going to be a part of this team. And while I am definitely not saying that he is a 100% lock to be on the 2022 Jets, I wouldn't put the chances of him being on the roster at very high right now, actually, which bums me out based on, my thoughts of him pre-draft and as a rookie. But I mean, last year was bad. There's no denying that. But Zach Wilson put any of the doubt that he doesn't care behind him by saying that, yeah, he is going to throw with him. Who do you think who else is going to be in this mix here? So Evil Empire on Twitter says, disappointing to see Jeff Smith and DJ Montgomery and no Denzel Mims. Guess the writing is on the wall with that one. Zach quote tweets and says, who else do you think is in the small group, with the laughing and clapping emoji? Love it. I love it. Standing up for his guy and Denzel Mims. And look, like Denzel's very much so in the doghouse. A lot of by his own doing, unfortunately. And we'll see if he is able to snap out of it. But I do like that Zach is working with him and standing up for his guy. Last year, I mean, the numbers were just bad. 8 catches, 133 yards, an 8.7 drop percentage. Just didn't look very engaged. He was getting starting reps down the stretch, and he was just non-existent for this team. Not at all, which is sad. And I know one of the biggest things was he hasn't learned all 3 positions, which is an issue for what the Jets want to do on offense. But the thought process was, okay, he's a really good run blocker, so you would imagine that he'd get himself on the field. That wasn't the case. And when he did get on the field, he was ineffective and significant penalty issues. Like, that was a major red flag for me, was the number of penalties and dumb penalties that he had last year. It was frustrating. It was really frustrating to watch Denzel last year. And I think, like, probably best case scenario, and this is like full transparency, this is an optimistic view. I think best case scenario, he could be your wide receiver 5, which is, again, sad from how high I was on him pre-draft process and what I thought he could be after his rookie year. But you can't go into this upcoming year and be like, okay, we are completely fine with essentially bringing back the same exact wide receiver room you had last year. And while I think Elijah Moore will get better, and I think Corey Davis will be healthy and play a full year and be better than what he was, and Braxton Berrios is Braxton Berrios, but Denzel didn't show us anything to show that he's going to take that leap forward in year 3 at this point. If he does, great. That's just like bonus at this point. Having him be wide receiver 5 and that being the risk is significantly more palatable than it being like, hey, we're relying on you to be a big outside receiver and go up and get the ball. I hope he does. I really do. And I'm rooting for Denzel to prove everyone wrong, including myself, who's kind of gotten off the Denzel train for some of the effort stuff last year, but didn't look good. And that's probably best case scenario. Worst case scenario, doesn't make the roster, which is possible. I mean, if they draft a receiver, let's say, and they decide, look, like Mims is not one of the best 6 receivers that we have in training camp, then maybe he doesn't make the roster. Maybe he does get cut. I don't see a trade. I didn't think Blake Cashman was going to get traded, so I guess I can't say that there's no way Denzel Mims gets traded. So maybe Douglas gets a late round pick or something for him. I don't know. But moral of the story is, if you want to spin in a positive light, is he's still working with Zach Wilson. So maybe that hints that he is trying to stick with this team, trying to get back in the mix here on this team. But 2021 has just got to be like you burn the tape. You just forget everything from that, because he went from someone who was like, again, promising as a rookie to just like did not know how to play football last year, which is just one of the more bizarre storylines that I've seen since following the Jets. I've followed the Jets for more than almost 20 years at this point of my life. And that was one of the more bizarre storylines of actual on the field stuff that happened. Like, sure, there's crazier off the field storylines, but that one was just unexpected. So we'll see what happens in 2022. I am hoping, fingers crossed, for better things, but I don't think you should rely on it that it's a definite thing. So let me know. Are you happy that Zach Wilson is participating in these the drills with the wide receivers? Are you happy that Denzel is going to get involved? You can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.